Life's a roller coaster, and so are holidays, and so are relationships. And when you're disabled, even a stroll by the beach can take planning, patience, and power steering.
My glasses are falling.
Sometimes it's sunshine and scooters, and everything rolls smooth. Sometimes people stare. Sometimes the smallest bump kicks off a spasm, and suddenly you're stuck. See, look, my foot.
Yeah.
But it was good. It didn't actually do much. But my legs are like, they don't like the bumps. This trip had highs and lows. Like wheelies on cobbles, it takes balance. Sometimes it's chaos. Sometimes it's failures and falls. And sometimes it's sunshine and piggybacks on the beach. But not every day on this holiday was quite as smooth. Today has been easily the worst day of the holiday by a mile. We had the worst argument we've ever had, ever. And I'm not even joking. We can laugh about it now because harmony has been restored. But we drove for 4 hours to get here, grumpy with one another, and then we finally made peace. And now we're here in Penis Cola. Hey! Everybody say Penis Cola. Flat promenade, sunshine, sea breeze. Honestly, surprisingly accessible. But of course, being me, I wasn't content to just stick to the easy stuff. I had my sights set on the old town. Ancient castle, cobblestones, crumbling charm, and that terrain that basically screams, not for wheelchairs. And the cobbles, they were brutal, and uphill too.
I mean, these ones are tricky, you know, especially when you go on uphill. This is definitely bumpier than Madrid. You've got to definitely have your wheelies on point.
Downhill was easier.
Downhill's much easier, yeah. But I still got spazzy leg, even with the wheelie. I get really nervous since I fell out the wheelchair if I get a spazzy leg on a wheelie.
Oh no.
It should be okay.
Look at Bonnie. Look at Bonnie. Hola. You're so handsome 3 times or 4 times in the last 2 days.
I don't know what it is, but yeah.
It's that face.
So we just wheelied up this massive hill. It's really cobbly, so Chris helped me push to the top. But because of what happened in Madrid with the stairs, I'm a little bit scared that when I wheelie down, because it's really cobbly, it might kick off a spasm and I might come a cropper again, but hopefully not. But yeah, we also had a gummy, which I think it's helped me. I'm in the zone. My wheelies have been so on point. I've been like lasering in on them. Yeah, I think it's fine. I just got to take it easy. That'll do, my love. So what an absolutely spectacular end to the day. The trip has been so much of a roller coaster, an unexpected roller coaster. When you go on holiday, you think it's going to be amazing. Oh, let's go on holiday. It'll be amazing. You look forward to it. You're excited about it. But when you're on holiday, sometimes it's really stressful. Sometimes you look back and you remember it like really fondly. But like the actual experience of a holiday can be more about the anticipation and the memories rather than the moment, which is weird, right? But I'm telling you, sometimes being on holiday is tough, you know? Sometimes it's absolute bliss as well. Like I've had one of the best weeks of my life. I've been to both ends of the spectrum. I've been to cloud 9, you know, afternoon delight on the couch with my love, like carefree, incredible, beautiful times. And then the most stressful arguments that we've ever had. And I'm like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? You know, that blindsided me. I thought we were a team, you know, I thought it was us against the world, baby, not against each other. Unspoken expectations manifest into future resentments. If you want your needs met, communicate them. I'm not a mind reader. And that's it, really. Communicate your needs. And I will do what you want, baby. But, don't expect me to, read your mind and then get mad at me because I didn't know what you were thinking about. You know what I mean? Anyway. So one of the best, weirdest days of my life. Boo!
Hola, buenos dias. Today we are going to Montpellier. We're going to drive. It's about 7 hours away. Chris is actually just on the beach at the moment, stretching, doing a bit of yoga. Penis Cola, comically named Peniscola. One of the most accessible places I think I've ever been in my life. We had a stroll down the beach. A flat, long surface that I can just effortlessly wheel down, with my love and Bonnie, and just like, this is nice. And the sea and the scenery. We watched the sunset, we watched the moon rise. It was lovely. We even found a wheelchair accessible restaurant that was literally on the beach. It even had a disabled toilet. They do have a disabled toilet as well, but it's a bit full of junk. But still, absolutely cool place that's really, really accessible. To be honest, this place has been really nice. It's a beautifully accessible, pet-friendly, budget hotel right on the beach. Very nice little wet room area. And then if you come through here, it looks fine. Couldn't be happier with the hotel room. It's, like I say, it's very basic, but the bathroom was really nice. The shower was great. And yeah, so far, so good. Harmony is restored, and what can I say? But this holiday has been a wild roller coaster. Just like, life is a roller coaster, but this has been woohoo, wild. I just feel so much better today. But I did feel really good when I woke up yesterday, so, it can creep up on you. Got to be aware, got to be mindful. Before we left, we took full advantage of just how surprisingly accessible this place turned out to be. I never really thought the beach would be somewhere I'd get to be at again. Not properly, but there I was, playing fetch with Bonnie on the sand, the sea air in my lungs and the sun on my face. And then Chris, because she's utterly brilliant and a bit of a force of nature, gave me a piggyback down to the water. Moments like this remind me just how much is possible when we move as a team. It takes effort, trust and patience, and apparently legs of steel. But when it works, it really works.
We're going to the sea. Ish. I'm not getting my feet wet.
You're not going to get your feet wet?
You're heavy, My legs from leg day are not healthy.
Yeah, I can imagine. And as she lowered me back into my chair, legs aching, both of us laughing, we were ready to roll on.
Good job, my love.
Next stop, the van and the road ahead. The glorious, accessible Penis Cola. Everyone loves an accessible penis. And now we have a 7-hour drive ahead of us to Montpellier, finally back in France, and then it'll be another 7 hours tomorrow back to Morzine. But we are on the road again. See you later, Penis Cola.
Sad times.
Look at how good it is. What do you think, my love?
Suitable.
Suitable indeed. Well, let's check out the rest of the apartment. Not a bad view from the window. Check it out. We've got a kitchenette, which is really nice. We've got a nice sofa. Bonnie's happy. Also, we had to pay an extra little charge for Bonnie, and they gave us a little doggy bag, literally a welcome pack. It said woof, and it had doggy bags, a little bowl, and a little dog treat. And I was like, mate, that softens the blow so much when they're like, oh yeah, here's a little gift for your dog. I'm like, sweet, thank you. Also, free parking. Love a bit of free parking. When we were at the hotel in Madrid, I think I might have edited it out of the original Madrid vlog, but I was well annoyed that they charged us 10 euros a night. Because I'm like, mate, we've already paid for the hotel room. You're going to charge us for parking. But this place, free parking, and it was a free upgrade as well. I like the lady, she was very sweet.
she was like, "Oh, you have been upgraded to a larger room," and I was like, "Hell yeah, we've been upgraded to a larger room." This is the, oh nice. This is the bathroom. Oh, there's a little step that you've got to wheelie up, but never mind. This is the accessible bathroom. Looks great. Look at that. Oh yeah, nice little shower chair. Yeah, looks awesome. Loving it. So overall, the hotel room is really accessible, and they've made such an enormous effort to make the whole place wheelchair accessible. And I really hate to be nitpicky, but there are a few things that I wanted to point out. And this transfer here, like I'm pretty good at transferring, and I'm pretty strong. I'd say, you know, I'm up there. This transfer with shoes on, I'd say was quite easy. Like for example, if I could transfer on here. Ow, and it's a bit hard. I put a towel down. But yesterday when I made the transfer back and without shoes on and the floor is wet, it is very, very tricky. It helps that my legs are quite relaxed today, but last night my legs, it was a very, very difficult transfer. And my legs went spazzy and kicked the wall, and my toes are still bruised from Madrid. So it was actually really uncomfortable. I was here like wrestling with my legs, and again, I'm not sure like what sort of responsibility I can take for that, but this is honestly a very, very challenging transfer. And normally, again, I'm very, very confident with transfers like this, but last night I struggled quite a lot. So that was one of the things that I think could be improved. So as you can see, that door is very, very heavy, and I'm very strong, but you've got to push it and then do a wheelie to get over that. It's a small step, but yesterday I had my suitcase on my lap and I didn't see the step, and I was trying to get in, and it was very, very difficult. And I think a lot of people assume that if a guy in a wheelchair is staying somewhere, he's going to be staying with someone that can open the door. But that is another thing. Again, I don't like to be nitpicky because this apartment is wonderful, but that is another thing that just robs certain people of an independent holiday. So I could do it, but it was a struggle, you know, and it could be a lot easier if the door was less heavy and the threshold was smooth. Chris says it might be bigger than our apartment.
At least the bedroom is.
The bedroom is pretty sweet, eh? It's way bigger than our bedroom. So that's nice. Yeah, really cool. Happy? Bonnie? Yeah, we're happy. A part of my experience of being in Spain, according to Chris, is to try brains. These are lamb brains. And to be totally honest, when she got them in the shop, they look fucking disgusting. They look like brains. And now I'm eating them, they're actually pretty tasty, but it's just the thought of them being brains is pretty gross. But yeah, I guess I have to admit they're not too bad. So another thing I'm really stoked about on this this cool little hotel that we're staying at is they have a fitness center here. It's pretty. There's only really one bit of equipment I can use, but still I can use a bit of equipment. So we got up early this morning, filled my gratitude journal with so much good stuff. There's one thing I did want to point out. When I woke up this morning, I was pretty grumpy because I'd got bitten by loads of mosquitoes. My legs were really spazzy, and I just had a pretty terrible night's sleep. And I remember thinking, oh man, like my mind is filling with negative thoughts, and I really need to recalibrate the texture of my mind and take responsibility for this. So I started running through a mental gratitude checklist. And once I thought about all the wonderful things that are happening on this holiday, I was just happy, you know. And it was really interesting how sometimes you can really take responsibility for bad moods creeping in, especially first thing in the morning. I think it's really important. So I did that, wrote 2 whole pages in my gratitude journal. Another thing I'm really grateful for is that there's no one else in the gym, because it's such a small place that if someone else was using that, it would be a bit of a buzzkill for me. So yeah, I'm gonna come and smash a great workout this morning, and then we're gonna get on the road. I'm really stoked. Another thing I really wanted to add was, as I was journaling, I realized that all the arguments and disagreements and challenging conversations that Chris and I have had on this holiday, what I would call like the lowlights, have actually
sort of come full spectrum, and they've sort of been given meaning a little bit. Like, I've realized that Chris was communicating her needs. I just have to learn to read between the lines, and maybe she could communicate a little bit better. But for example, when we got home last night, I offered to give her a nice massage, a nice relaxing massage, because she had done all the driving. And I was like, you know what? I can contribute in different ways. I can't drive the car because it's not an automatic. But what I can do is I can acknowledge that you've done a lot of driving, and I'll like give you a nice relaxing massage. And she really appreciated that, you know what I mean? And plus we had like a beautiful evening last night. We went out down to Montpellier and walked down by the lake, gave Bonnie a little bit of fetch with the ball. We ended up going to this beautiful restaurant, having a pizza, and ended up chatting for hours, you know. It was brilliant. We had a nice... I had a bit of a gummy, so I was actually like pretty stoned. So I was like giving it all that, waffling away, and she was patiently listening to me, and we laughed so much. It was brilliant. We just had a really lovely, beautiful time. And another great day, you know, like we went to... I've also learned to be a much better co-pilot after she was angry with me for sleeping. We played a really nice game yesterday called Let's Get Closer. It's a conversational prompt game. So one question led to like almost like a podcast. It felt like a podcast. What also helped was I had a Red Bull. You know, like we stopped at a service station and I got like a Red Bull, and I haven't had a Red Bull in ages, but I was like, Red Bull. So yeah, we were having this beautiful conversation. It was really patient. She was explaining to me how she'd met like a previous boyfriend, and then the boyfriend after that, and like all the, I guess, little things that had happened in her life before she ended up meeting me, and all the little jigsaw puzzle pieces that had to fall into place perfectly for our little union to happen. And then, you know, I shared some anecdotes in return, and it was such a beautiful conversation. And I thought, that, my friend, is how you be a good co-pilot, you know? You stay awake, you encourage deep conversation, you know, and you listen and stuff like that. And I just thought, yeah, you know, so all these little disagreements have come full circle, and we're healthier because of it. I think that these challenges come up for a reason, and yeah, it's great. And this morning we woke up again. I woke up just like covered in bites, and I was like, oh, this is gross. I'm like, yeah. So anyway, recalibrated. We had a lovely embrace this morning. We spoke about things. I journaled, and now I'm at the gym. So home, I might even make it home for poker. You know, it's Friday after all. It's Friday again. It's Friday again. So this gym didn't have any specialist equipment, but I'm used to that, so I just like to get creative. A few wheelchair burpees, some arm swings to get the blood moving, and then I found a cross trainer I could adapt and use with just my upper body. One thing I'm constantly grateful for is that my chair is small enough to fit through the tightest of gaps. It has honestly been the unsung hero of this trip, including right here. The transfer onto the machine took a bit of care, but thankfully my legs were a little bit more relaxed than usual. That helped. My legs are a little bit more relaxed this morning after a little buenos dias, if you know what I mean. Less helpful was realising halfway through my bicep curls that I'd accidentally propped my legs up and was basically lifting them too. Not ideal. Quick shuffle and I was back on track. Finished off with the push-pull split and a very sweaty smile. And would you Adam and Eve it, I made it home in time for the game. Not only that, I bloody won. You don't always get to choose your cards in life, but every now and then, the odds shift, the chips fall your way, and you get to play your hand just right.
Okay, that's it. I had a great workout. A little push-pull split in the end, just with some pull-downs and some chest press. I feel like that was like the easiest way to do it without faffing around with changing the weights, because that was a bit of a ball ache, but got a good sweat on. My Fitbit tells me I've done very well. 44 minutes. Smashed it out. That last set was a really good one as well.
Another thing that really helped the transfers this morning was that I had very relaxed legs, which came from a little buenos dias this morning, you know what I mean? And that's what happens when you play your cards right.
Oh, I feel so good getting a good workout in the morning. Oh, I made it work, and I'm so grateful there was no one else in the gym as well, so I could do a bit of filming and just let loose. To be honest, even though this gym is probably the worst equipped, this might be one of the best workouts of the entire holiday. I just really was in the zone, you know, really felt it. I was like listening to the music and I was like, yeah, come on. Also giving myself a time constraint was helpful. So I'm like, I've got to be back at the apartment by 9:30 because my love is making breakfast. And I'm like, okay, got to get it done before then. Whereas the other day we were like 2 hours in the gym. We had some caffeine and like a little bit of a gummy as well. That really helps sometimes in the gym. Like, whoa, yeah. So we were there for 2 hours. But when you give yourself, 45 minutes, you just get it done. And I loved it. It was really good. I was also thinking about how, I know this is going to sound silly, but I'm serious, right? Having a spinal cord injury is the best excuse to skip leg day. Sometimes I use it as a joke. Someone says, oh, you're looking buff. I'm like, well, I've been skipping leg day. But it's great. Like, I love skipping leg day. I never used to like doing squats and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And now I get to skip leg day all the time. Just come in, buff up the upper body, get the t-shirt muscles pumped, and then that's it, Perfect excuse to skip leg day.